Family abandons dog in a cruel way, but its inexplicable gift saved hundreds of lives. It was a cold, rainy night when the car came to a halt on the empty highway. The door swung open abruptly and Max was shoved out, landing in the mud. His confused eyes watched as his owner returned to the car, ignoring his desperate barking. "Stay here!" was the last command he heard before the car sped off, vanishing into the darkness. Max stayed there, soaked and trembling, his eyes fixed on the spot where the car had disappeared. For 3 years, he had been the loyal guardian of that family, offering unconditional love every single day. Now, in the solitude of that deserted road, his broken heart tried to understand what he had done wrong. Little did he know, this moment of deep despair would mark the beginning of an extraordinary journey. The first days on the streets were a nightmare for Max. Lost in an unfamiliar neighborhood, he wandered through alleys and abandoned buildings, searching for food and shelter. His nights, once spent on a cozy, warm bed, were now on damp cardboard beneath storefront awnings. Hunger drove him to rummage through trash cans, competing with other stray animals for scraps. His once golden fur, which had been a source of pride and care, was now matted and filthy. The cheerful bark he used to greet people had turned into a defensive growl. Max quickly learned that trust on the streets could mean danger. Every sound, every movement in the shadows could represent a new threat. One particularly cold morning, Max faced his first major challenge. A group of territorial dogs cornered him in a dead-end alley, growling menacingly. Surrounded on all sides, with their sharp teeth bared, Max pressed himself against the wall. It was in this moment of absolute despair that something extraordinary happened, something that would change not only his fate but the lives of many others. The early months of Max's life were pure joy. He grew up surrounded by love, with his own bed, toys scattered around the backyard, and the best veterinary care. His sweet and playful temperament made him the perfect companion for the children. He followed them everywhere, slept at the foot of their beds, and protected them like a true guardian. But as he grew older, things began to change. Max was no longer the cute puppy that could fit in their laps. Now he was a fully grown Labrador, strong and full of energy. The daily walks became less frequent, and the playful moments dwindled. The family started complaining that he took up too much space, ate too much, and left his golden fur all over the house. The children, once so attached to him, now spent hours glued to their phones and video games, ignoring Max's pleas for attention. The parents began leaving him outside more often, even on cold nights. His attempts to show affection were seen as inconvenient. The joyful barks that used to welcome them home became an annoyance. Things worsened when the family decided to move into an apartment. "Max is too big for an apartment," they said. "He'll make too much noise. He'll bother the neighbors." For weeks, the family argued about what to do with him, all while ignoring his presence, as if he couldn't understand the rejection in every word. After that cruel night of abandonment in the rain, Max had to quickly learn the rules of the streets. His instincts, dormant after years of comfort, kicked in with full force. He discovered he had to be cautious around other dogs, avoid cars, and find safe places to sleep. An elderly woman who lived near the alley he often sheltered in noticed him. Mrs. Mary, as the neighbors called her, began leaving out a bowl of clean water and occasionally scraps of food for him. Max, still wary, waited for her to move away before approaching, but gradually he realized not all humans were cruel. It was during these visits to the alley that something unusual began to happen. Children from a nearby children's hospital, who sometimes played in the outdoor yard, caught his attention. Max watched from a distance with a different kind of interest. It wasn't just a longing for the games he used to play with kids, it was something more, something he seemed to sense. In particular, there was one girl who always sat in a wheelchair. Max noticed something unusual about her, something the doctors had yet to detect. Whenever he saw her, he became restless, barking in a distinct way as if trying to warn someone. His behavior began to draw the attention of the hospital staff, especially when he repeatedly tried to approach that specific girl. That special instinct, that unique perception that was beginning to manifest, would mark the start of an extraordinary transformation in Max's life and the lives of many children at that hospital. Max's constant presence around the children's hospital didn't go unnoticed for long. The staff began to observe that despite being a stray, he kept a respectful distance and behaved differently from other abandoned animals, especially when children were nearby. Dr. Caroline, a veterinarian who volunteered at the hospital, was the first to notice something extraordinary about Max's behavior. She observed that he seemed particularly restless near certain children, as if he could sense something others couldn't. At first, many dismissed it as coincidence, but the events that followed would prove there was much more behind his persistent barking. The turning point came on a Wednesday afternoon. Max began barking incessantly near little Julie, the girl in the wheelchair he often watched. His barking was different this time, almost desperate. At first, the security guards tried to chase him away, but he kept returning to the same spot, staring intensely at the girl. It was Dr. Caroline's insistence that made the difference. She convinced the doctors to conduct more thorough tests on Julie, arguing that there were already studies about dogs detecting illnesses. To everyone's surprise, the tests revealed a tumor in its early stages, something that routine checkups hadn't detected. This early discovery allowed for much more effective treatment. If this story is already touching your heart, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss incredible stories like this one. Now, let's continue, because Max's unique gift was only just beginning. This incident sparked a series of studies and observations. The medical team began documenting every interaction Max had with patients, noticing an impressive pattern. He showed specific agitation near children who were later diagnosed with various medical conditions. The hospital decided to embrace Max's extraordinary gift. After a thorough medical checkup and proper care, he was officially adopted by the institution. The once abandoned, scruffy street dog underwent a complete transformation. His golden fur regained its shine, he was given an identification badge, and he earned a special place in everyone's hearts. Dr. Caroline developed a specialized training program to hone Max's natural abilities. She collaborated with the medical staff to better understand his unique signals. Every bark, every specific behavior was cataloged and associated with different health conditions. Max learned how to behave appropriately in the hospital's corridors, interact gently with children, and remain calm in emergencies. The first few months of work were astonishing. Max helped identify numerous cases early on that could have worsened without his intervention. His presence became so essential that doctors began including him in their daily rounds. The children, who once feared medical procedures, now eagerly awaited visits from Dr. Max. His fame quickly spread throughout the hospital. Physicians from other departments requested his presence, intrigued by his extraordinary abilities. Preliminary studies revealed that Max had an impressive accuracy rate in his diagnoses. He seemed particularly sensitive to different types of cancers and neurological conditions, leaving even the most skeptical doctors amazed. The care and dedication Max showed to each patient were even more remarkable. He instinctively knew how to adapt to each child, gentler with the frailest patients, more playful with those who needed cheering up. His presence not only brought early diagnoses, but also provided invaluable emotional comfort to the hospitalized children. The day that truly proved Max's extraordinary value started like any other at the hospital. It was a quiet morning when a new patient arrived for a routine checkup. Anna, a 6-year-old girl, seemed perfectly healthy, playing and smiling as she waited her turn. Her parents had brought her in for a standard annual checkup with no suspicion that anything could be wrong. As Anna walked through the hospital corridors, Max, who was on his usual rounds, abruptly changed his behavior. He started barking in a way Dr. Caroline had never seen before. This wasn't his usual alert. It carried a different urgency, almost desperation. Max refused to leave Anna's side, even gently tugging on her sleeve with his teeth when they tried to move him away. Some skeptical doctors dismissed it as random behavior, but the staff familiar with Max's history insisted on running more detailed tests. Anna's parents, initially startled by the dog's reaction, agreed to proceed after hearing about the other cases Max had helped identify. The test results shocked the entire medical team. Anna had an early-stage brain aneurysm, a condition that could have turned fatal at any moment. It was a discovery that would never have been made during a standard checkup. Without the specific tests prompted by Max's alert, the condition would have gone unnoticed until it was too late. News of Max saving Anna's life spread quickly. Local media began reporting on the medical dog revolutionizing diagnoses at the Children's Hospital. Stories highlighted not just Anna's case, but dozens of others where Max had made a critical difference between early detection and potential tragedy. Then, something unexpected happened. Watching one of these news reports on TV, the family that had abandoned Max recognized him. Suddenly, the people who had left him on a dark road reappeared at the hospital, demanding their lost dog back, claiming they had only been separated temporarily. The hospital community rallied immediately to protect Max. Staff, doctors, patients, and their families came together, sharing the real story of how Max was found, documenting his transformation from an abandoned stray to a hospital hero, and gathering evidence of the intentional abandonment. The case gained even more media attention, touching the hearts of viewers everywhere. How could a dog left to die in the cold have turned into such an extraordinary being, saving lives and bringing hope to so many families? The attempts by his former owners to reclaim him only highlighted the incredible journey of love and resilience that defined Max's story. Today, Max walks through the hospital corridors as if he's always belonged there. His identification badge shines on his new collar, along with a special medal awarded by the Regional Medical Council, recognizing his extraordinary contributions. His golden fur, now always well-groomed, reflects the sunlight streaming through the hospital windows as he makes his daily rounds. Max's routine is filled with love and purpose. Every morning, he arrives at the hospital alongside Dr. Caroline, who has officially become his guardian. He joins the medical rounds, always alert to any signals his unique instincts might detect. Between exams and consultations, he finds time to play with the children, bringing smiles to their faces during even the most challenging treatments. The hospital staff treats Max like a true member of the medical team. He has his own cozy spot in the staff room, complete with a comfortable bed and plenty of toys. Yet Max prefers to spend his free time visiting patients' rooms, lying beside children during chemotherapy sessions, or simply offering his unconditional love to those who need it most. Max's story is more than just a tale of an abandoned dog-turned-hero. It's a testament to the transformative power of love and resilience. From the shadows of cruelty and abandonment, he emerged as a beacon of hope, saving countless lives along the way. His remarkable ability to detect illnesses is extraordinary, but perhaps his greatest gift is his capacity to show that even the darkest moments can lead to something beautiful. Max never let the cruelty he endured diminish his ability to love. Instead, he channeled his pain into purpose, his abandonment into a mission. When people ask how a stray dog became such an important hero, the answer is simple. Max never stopped believing in love. He turned his heartbreak into strength and his struggles into a life-saving journey. And each day, he continues to prove that true love doesn't just mend broken hearts, it can also save lives. Speaking of the unconditional love of animals, this reminds me of another incredible story about a dog who interrupted a church service. The priest, curious, decided to follow the dog and uncovered a shocking secret. That video is now on your screen, so go check it out. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to hit that button and turn on the notifications for more stories like this every week. If you're already subscribed, leave a like to help the channel grow, and we'll see you in the next story.